Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Spirit Inside. My name is Diann Henry. I'm here with my brother, Steve Henry, who is guiding us back to the spirit inside of each of us to help, to release us from our worldly bound. So, Steve, if you are ready, let's go.
I was born ready. But anyway, here we go again. But you say guiding us. You ain't quite being fair about that, right? I'm guiding you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Poor word choice. Guiding me. Yes.
Yeah, I'm guiding, because see, we are a world full of individuals. Everything you see is one person's house. You can't make nothing. Everything is the next generation of something. The only way you can add something to the light. In other words, you see how Christ say, I'm the light of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in his spirit, that spiritual doctrine thing, the 144,000 characters, that's what lights up the world. It's got to come from inside of there. It lights up. That's what light means. You can see it. But if you hold to the spot where you can't see it, according to the math, how will you fare from that spot? If you hold to a spot where you can't see something, is it going to change the thing that need to be seen, or will it change you?
Change you.
Okay, now, if you, let's say you claim, if you testify to having the numbers, but you can't count, is that testimony true or false?
False.
Because if you testify to knowing how to do something that you cannot do because you believe you do, is your witness to that is true or false?
False.
Because everything you can do, you got to be able to do it where, inside or outside?
Inside.
Yeah, because if you do it on the inside, you judge from the inside. You can't judge that on the outside. So every time you, and if I show you something here, and when you see it outside, would you know that to be true then? If I show you the 2 + 2 = 4 here, and when you see it 2 + 2 = 5 outside, which one you think is true?
The one you showed.
Because it's on the inside. There ain't no lies on the inside. The lies and deceptions are on the outside. That's the world. All the people out there with you, I don't give a damn how much you love them or think they're right or wrong. If it's outside of your skin, how can it be true? It's the world. It's all a lie outside of your skin, because you can't, how can you receive it? It's outside. I mean, it's impossible, regardless to who say what. If it's outside, it's already been brought out. It can't ever move or change. But someone manipulate that. It look good to you because you can see it out there, right? But it can't be yours because it's already out there. You don't learn nothing. You don't make nothing. You got to bring what's inside of you out. Once your window closed, you can't see it. You got to throw away all your stuff and ride with someone. Everyone got a house. When someone write a story or do like we doing now, you got to only write about what's inside of this house. You can't include nothing to this. The moment you include anything that's not listed in the gospel truth, what did that do? Put you in the house or out?
Out.
Because you can't add nothing to the numbers. It's the same. But when you comply with it, you can run all through the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
The numbers, we can zoom all through them together, but we got to comply with them. We can't, you can't go against the numbers and then be inside of them too. Can you?
Mm-mm.
So when someone, if I'm showing you what this house is built upon, you can't dream of bringing nothing from nowhere else because it's not inside this house. I'm not guessing. I'm looking at what's on the wall in the hallway of my own self. when we did the third chapter of Mark, and at the end, they said, Christ's mother and brother was out waiting to speak to him. And he looked at the people who was listening at him, the ones who was listening at him speak. He said, behold, meaning look, my mother and my brother. Those who do the will of my Father. Now, the ones who do the will is the one listening to the household, or the one who don't. If someone got every house built is the house of God. Because you don't make it from scratch, you bring it from inside. You only can bring it out if it comes from that gospel truth, or it won't fit in. It'll stand alone. It's called a man-made doctrine. When you go to the grave, it closes up. Oh, you can go out there and put together anything. That's what they do with the churches and things. They're putting together something. They look right to them because they're following the spirits of the world. And they led you out there. Well, anyone who's out there, you weren't born out there. You're born in the darkness, and you got to see the things. You get on a track coming in. All the things you see is what you are. But when you don't, when you stop seeing things and you go to going around and someone else showing you about someone else, I can't show you what's inside of nobody. But what's inside of me, I show you how I use it. Just like the alphabet. You have to show, I can't teach you the alphabet. I have to show you how I see it, where it is. Because we use it for different things, right? The words out there, they fit our different. In other words, if any two houses are the same, that means somebody's house missing, right?
Yeah.
Because if you find this house, you can adopt the house, but you can't get credit for bringing it to the world. But in this thing with you and I, when you see something, you got to participate in the living God. The living God it's like the English language. It was way back then. It's living. The ones who's using it is living in it. It's new word. They're bringing new things to the world. When you up on them, you see the new things and you can use them. But if you don't use them, they foreign to you, right?
Yeah.
There are many people who won't even use a cell phone yet. Do you think it look right to them to not use the cell phone?
Yeah.
It looks just right as it can be because they don't look, because they hadn't found how to use it on the inside of them. But you show them the little miracles of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, and then you can see all the things that people did. Once they get the light of it inside of them, you can't take it away from them. Can you?
No.
But see, your situation, everyone who don't have his own thing from inside, you got to, I'm putting the house here, but you got to participate in it. It's like that Facebook page I do over there in my daughter's capital. When I say daughter, I don't mean a specific person. Each house got one daughter character, it got one mother, one father, one son, it's got one of everything. Whoever come under it, that spot, that's the position they hold in the house. You know what I'm saying? Anyone who come under the daughter's character, that's the position in the house they'll always hold. But with the thing being here, you have to do something to build this house inside of yourself. In other words, all the house got 78 different seats. The graph 3. Well, the people on the Facebook page, they know what all these little graphs and things are. But people like you're not on the Facebook page. But if you don't have to go on the Facebook page, but you got to come away from back there. And by me talking to you, will leap you over from back there because you got common sense. You know that, well, you're a math teacher. You know if it's an ongoing thing, it's counting the number 1, 2, 3 going up. And we to 8,814. Now, what you think got to come out next? We coming up from number 1, and we at 8,814. You know 8,812 ain't gonna come out no more, right?
Yep.
So in order for the 13 to be here, that's got to already be established. It's got to hold up the 13, right? And the next one has got to be, what was it, 14, it's got to be 15. It's got to be. You can't jump over it, because how can you jump over something in the number? That's how the years have been counting since Christ. You ain't gonna bring out nothing from 5 minutes ago, because it's already established. It can't change. What it's gonna do? Move over? When you get to 8,814, if you're gonna put one in there again, what did the rest of them gonna do? Move over?
Nope.
So it's impossible to fit something in there, right? So you can't fit nothing in yesterday or 5 minutes ago, because it's expanding. It's constantly expanding. But if you are expanding along with it, it's on the inside of you. You can't chase it down outside. But all you have to do is come to your common senses. You cannot go backwards. And if you are backwards, how are you gonna catch up? Each one of those days had 24 hours in it. Each one of the ones now got 24 hours in it. How are you gonna make up the difference? So you got to let all that's past be where? In the future or in the past?
In the past.
So if it's in the past and you still honoring it, that means it's in the past, or you pretending that it's in the past? You still honoring it. You still honoring your last year birthday. You looking forward or backwards?
Backwards.
Everyone who received the light of Christ in their life, that means they going out looking for something, or they got it?
They got it.
And if you're going out looking for something, does that mean you got it or you don't?
You don't.
So how you gonna look for what you got? Once you get the numbers, can you go out looking for them again?
No.
But all the people you know, they go out looking every week for God that they swear they got, right?
Yeah.
So are they testimony true or false?
False.
So anyone who's doing that, am I calling them a lie, or is the gospel truth spirit calling them a lie? That spirit of truth. Because once you got the alphabet, well, that's how everything works through those that found the alphabet vowels now. Because the alphabet, you have to do it first to take the letters away from it, to turn it into the vowels. No two together make the syllables. Those three got to go together. When you start reading, every single time you read, you got to start using the alphabet. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I don't care where you start at, because the window, the alphabet gonna be the first thing after, just like the one gonna be in the number. You can zoom up there in lightning speed, but if that one missing, can you go to 500?
No.
It's impossible, because it's a vine, and it's all linked together. You can shift from everything, but the moment you hold on to something, what do you know happened then?
Stop.
Everything in creation, you can move right through it on the inside. But the moment you grab on to anything or get anything that's false, let's say if you grab something false, that means if you grab something false, that means it's gonna do what it's supposed to or not?
Not.
It's not gonna do it. So if you grab a hold and it false, what else can you do?
Nothing.
And whose fault is it that you got something that you can't use and you're holding on to it? And where are you gonna go?
Nowhere.
So someone had to lead you there. So they're a friend or a foe?
So
They misled you, right? And you ain't thinking now you got something, and you get conned into waiting until you get into the next life by someone who's living. How they know it's the next life if you still living? Can you know it's the next life if you living? How? If you gonna know it's the next life and you still living, how that make sense to you? The testimony can't be true. You'd be a false prophet, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you claim to know something that you can't produce, okay, if you know the 2 + 2 = 4, can't you produce it? You can get a pencil. Look, 2 + 2, 1, 2. Get your fingers. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't you do it that way when you know it?
Yeah.
But if you don't know it, you can't produce it, right?
No.
So that means you're holding on to something that you claim you know, you're holding on to something false. But who are you hurting? Ain't nobody in there but who?
You.
All right, but once you do see it, you can easily, you can tell the tree by the fruit it bears. You know, you don't get grapes from briar bushes. I mean, you know that, right?
Yeah.
You know, and they say, well, we're gonna go to that next. Let's do the 7th chapter of Matthew. Remember, we're not reading no Bible here. I'm showing you what's inside of this house. You don't have to just go right past it. It can't ever change. As the things in it come up, just don't go into it looking for what you used to see. Because whatever it is, it's not used in the same context. You know why, right?
No.
These same, all of these spiritual things of Christ and God, they're used in each house. From that house perspective, the alphabet and the numbers, everything in doctrine is from God. No two do the same thing. Anytime two do the same thing, one of them has got the other's property. You agree or disagree? There's so many different things in the life because different people brought different steps of different things. The caveman can't bring nothing down here. They brought the flint rock fire. You don't have to go back to bring the flint rock fire in order to bring the LED light bulb. There's many steps in between them. The generation is what brought that step of that out. Now you can go back and spend your whole life making the flint rock fire not in the woods. Is it going to change the LED and the turn the light series down here for the people who use it? Because what people fail to realize, just like the numbers, you can get up to 88 billion and 90. The number 1 is still there in its place, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first generation, the caveman, do you think those people pretending when they still live in the cave?
No.
If they vanish from the cave, you think we'll still be here?
No.
If the number 1 vanish or change, it can't change. The 88 billion and 15 can't be here. So because all the people in the world is in the Amish, you think they could change? Every generation remnants is still here. But remember I showed you that where the devil and his demons was kicked out to the earth. What they do for the world is to, well, it's the temptations. It's to make you pure. You know that the devil and his people are out there in the world. Out there in the world is outside of your skin. They build the monuments and the bigger churches and they go back and got you in the 21st century worshiping the caveman. You know it ain't going nowhere, but you go sit down there all your life and throw rocks with David and the giant. How it's gonna go anywhere? You know it can't. It's impossible to go anywhere, right? Those people can't change. They are the indigenous people. They the old era. Not a single one can change. But the cunning people of this day society, they goes over and nothing can change. Nothing can change. All the stuff come from the inside, and once it's planted here on earth, it's impossible to change a move. But that crowd that's put here to deceive the weak, it goes back and say, hey, They took this land from our grand people. You don't take no land from nobody on the outside. Nothing comes from the outside. All the things come from inside. All the things are inside. That's where you dream at when you're little, but when you get stuck outside of it, you can't see it anymore. It goes dark because why? You're supposed to brought a particular thing during your own generation. But where are you? Back there with the caveman, right? You've been taught to be back in the history, right? So if you're supposed to have brought the touch tone phone and you didn't, there ain't but one way we can get down here to these modern day phones, is it? If we waited on you and you didn't bring it, what does that mean?
Somebody else.
So after about 16, if you ain't bring it, the next generation behind you, that same character, they get to working on it. And they'll see, because you see it inside of yourself. You ain't gonna see it outside. The one out in the world or on the job somewhere, they ain't gonna see it. It's one, in other words, the people who bring the messages to the world to change the world, let's say like in the teenage years, the boys, the Beatles and them, they go in the garages, they frame around. The music and stuff is always playing inside of you. All the stuff is always happening inside of you. Once you tune into it, you can play it. You ain't gonna play it not being able to tune into it. You know that, right? And the practicing, just like the speaking the English, by us practicing, you tune into where it's at. You use it, right? It's the same thing by you. In other words, you put it on the tape. We all are individuals. You go to the tape that you, well, in your order, you put them in the proper order. It's going to unfold to you. This ain't nothing nobody can argue about out there. I don't know nothing about what they do. They don't do nothing. Going around the circle. I know about the things that the people do from the gospel truth of Christ. It's the spiritual things that count. Ain't nothing of the flesh gonna count. It ain't no good. When you see the people running around here talking about people, whether they get gay marriage or whether they be gay or whether they be abortion, the sin is to be out there worried about them. We all inside. There ain't nothing flesh and blood can count nowhere in this world. That's an illusion. You have to be told that. It's only anyone who does not bring nothing from the spirit, they're not worthy of nothing of God. So in order for you to be out bashing somebody else or being gay or whatever it is, everything come here, you think it's an accident?
No.
Once the door is open, can you close it?
Oh.
No. Everything comes to this world only because it was brought from the inside out. Because it don't fit where your house is supposed to be. You let the people on the outside, the devil and his demons, teach you to sacrifice yourself, nosing in somebody else's affairs. Who they can marry, who they can be with. That ain't no good to you. Somebody teach you that. Anytime you get people who listen to somebody, whether it be good or evil, that's the ones who hear it, right? You go right over to the next step, to the next crowd, they see it totally different, right?
Yeah.
And anytime somebody got to teach it to you, that's of the world, that's the devil. How you gonna lead it? You go to one of them scoundrels churches, when you leave there, you don't know, that ain't no good enough. Where else can you use it? You can't use it nowhere else. You go to his son, he got a totally different setup because no two is the same. When they're the same, that's just a different, it's just, other words, they under the same banner. What's the same church? They just enlarge the same thing, the same creflo dollars are preaching. That's a worldly thing. Anything out in the world, you're supposed to know that it's out in the world because it's not inside of you. The things inside of you, when you see, you use. When you see something here, you use it, but you can't use it with that out there. How? It has to stay inside the house. You use the numbers with the numbers. Everywhere a number appears, that's when the number spirit that you adopt fire up. You can have all the alphabets you want to. and don't nobody ask you how many, the numbers ain't never gonna mix with them. But the moment they say how many, you 25, 26, however many it is, that's when the numbers get tied, and they won't mix no other kind of way, right? Okay. Remember, I think, and this whole thing, well, it's harder when you're an adult. But any little child, let's say about 2 years old or a little bit before then, you can show everything that you've learned in your 50 years. Because see, the spaces are inside of the children. When the baby little, he's right in the middle of all of them. He's trying to rationalize what he see out there with you and how to blend it with what he laying in that crib looking at. That's the time when you see the mama reading in front of that little baby and doing them, or taking it through the store, got it looking at that computer or something, and it pick up all those things because they see them, especially musical instruments, because they see it. It's right there. But when you going out in the world, it gets you further and further and further away from the things that's the truth. And the further you get away from them, you know when they're gonna close, right? Okay. So God made the mama to teach the baby. But the devil, the world has got you in the school. But you're supposed to only teach spiritual doctrines. You know there's a difference, right?
A difference in what? And we are out of time, so you got about a minute.
Okay, well, spiritual doctrine is what you're supposed to teach to the children. That's the things that once they get it, they ain't never got to go back again, they use it. Remember, you see this thing Christ keep talking about in his doctrine. And they say, well, he taught them in his doctrine. You won't find a preacher in the church can tell you what the doctrine is. They can't see this. You know they can't see it, right? All of these things, they've been right here forever. Do you see anything I'm making up? Can you see one thing that I made up? Well, if you had seen something I made up, you should mention it up, but you can't. Because I'm not making it up. It's there to hold everything in creation is inside of you.
I'm gonna say it's a different perspective than I've ever known.
Huh?
You asked me if I knew something that you made up, and I said I couldn't answer that because it's a different perspective than anything I've ever known.
Yeah, in other words, it's a different point of view. But where is it? It's right there inside of you. Ain't it? Can you see the different point of view if I don't mention it?
No.
But if I mention it, can you say that's a lie? That means it. Well, you know it's coming from the gospel, right? Okay. Because you can't. How are you gonna argue when it comes from the gospel? But if it's not from the gospel, you can say, "Hey, 2 + 2 ain't 8. Look, it's 4."
Okay. So we're gonna.
I got to concur. Huh?
So Matthew 7 today, right?
Yeah, Matthew 7. Okay. Well, anyway, this is the way to go because I can kind of. It can get somewhere this way because once you get it on the tape, it ain't. Listen, everything from God is free. What kind of God would you have inside of yourself who sell you something? The first fruit of God is the first thing you see on the inside because the fruit of the Spirit is to reveal it to the world. You reveal the first thing you see. You don't know what inside of you. In order to show it, when you see something, you know, when you said they should comment, because they got to comment about the things on this page, because that's how you build. You got to practice it. If you practice it, what's going to happen? No matter what you practice, you're going to get good at it as you familiarize yourself with it. But all the things you don't practice, what's going to happen? Reading name off a dam, you got to use it. Use it. When you see it, use it. If you see it and don't understand it, your using it will be false. If you tell something you don't know, your testimony will be false. And if you do false testimony, what that mean? You going somewhere or you're not?
You did not.
Well, it's inside of you. Once you practice it, you can see it's like reading and writing.
Okay.
Can you do the reading and writing without practice?
No, you can't. Okay. All right. So, so we're ready to start?
I'm out of here.
All right.
Bye-bye. Practice it.
Chapter 7. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn again and rend you. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he asks a fish, will give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Enter ye in at the strait gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? Even so every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house. And it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine. For he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you again soon.